What's up, guys? This is Storm, and we have a bunch of news to go over this week before the Xbox Showcase and the Summer Game Fest. We'll be going over some of the games that was shown off during the PlayStation State of Play, and some little bit of news that happened before. So without further ado, let's get on with the news. We have received word that Kohei Ikeda, the director for Tekken 8, has left Bandai Namco. He was the one who took the position after the original director departed, but now after a short amount of time, he left also. He put out a statement saying, "Ever since I first discovered fighting games as a student, I spent countless days in arcades completely immersed in competitive competition and battling against others. For some like me, becoming part of the company I had always admired, Namco was truly a damn dream come true. Looking back now, I realized that the opportunity that led me there was made possibly by the many friendships and connections I built through fighting games and people I met along the way. As I reflect on the past 20 years at the company, I remember first stepping into game development through Soul Calibur 4. I'm not going to read the whole statement, but he basically announced that he's leaving the company and reflecting the 20 years he had been at Bandai Namco. I am kind of curious who's going to replace him if Bandai Namco have anybody lined up and stuff. Like, this kind of stuff just came out of nowhere, honestly, and I'm kind of curious what's going on behind the scenes of it, because he was trained to take over I think like Honda. I believe that was the name. Who was originally the director for Tekken? Now when he left, he made this guy the new director, and now this guy is leaving. So it's kind of weird, in my opinion, that these guys are just randomly just leaving. But I digress. Sony has revealed the pricing for their upcoming accessories for the PlayStation. These accessories are the Flex Stripe Fight Stick, the 27-inch gaming monitor with DualSense charging hook, and the Pulse Elevate wireless speaker. For the Flex Stripe Fight Stick, it will be released on August 6th for $200. The 27-inch gaming monitor with DualSense charging hook, that comes out August 27th for $350. It will have 1440p support with 240 frames per second. And the Pulse Elevate wireless speakers, there's no price for them yet, but they will be released later in 2026. The pre-order begins on June 5th. For the monitor and June 12th for the Flex Strike. I will post a link in the PlayStation blog below for more information of these products in case anybody interested in purchasing them in the future. Aquatic Dreams could be in a very troubling situation. There's a rumor going around that Star Wars Eclipse, which is the game that Aquatic Dreams is working on, is reportedly going through development hell as NetEase is claimed to be looking to sell Aquatic Dream. This report coming from Insider Gaming. So, unless we hear like an official confirmation, take it with a grain of salt. But as of right now, it's not looking good for Aquatic Dream. We got some interesting rumor about the next installment for the Star Wars Jedi. Apparently, the rumor claims it will feature an older Jedi Cal Kestis and a time jump. While Jedi Survivor was set 5 years after Fallen Order, there is suggestion of a larger time jump compared to the previous games, according to Insider Gaming. It goes further into we will see a more mature and experienced Cal Kestis than in the previous installments. So, it is very interesting, especially a couple of days ago we did hear a report saying that like Luke Skywalker know of Cal Kestis Survivor Order 66. And it's nice to see that Cal Kestis is being introduced in the main Jedi storyline. But how far of a jump is this compared to the last game, which was 5 years? That's hard to say. But as like I said before, this is a rumor as of right now, so take it with a grain of salt, and we might hear more about this in the future because we already know that EA is working on the next Star Wars Jedi game. So we just gotta wait and see when will we potentially see it. And you never know, we might get at the Summer Game Fest, but we'll see. We got information for Horizon Steel Frontier. Is the Horizon game that sets in a little spin-off universe that's be available on mobile. It says it's targeting the first half of 2027 for release. It's a MMO RPG set in the Horizon universe, developed by NC Soft in collaboration with Guerrilla Games, feature extensive character customization, cooperative machine hunting, and large-scale multiplayer battles. So it does kind of suck this game is not coming to consoles, it's on the mobile stuff. So if you want to check it out on mobile, is set to release in the first half of 2027. We'll see how that turns out. For June 22nd, PlayStation had their State of Play. They roughly shown 25 games at this event, with majority of them having gameplay, some releasing this year and some releasing into the next year. There were a couple of surprising announcements, and one game is getting its own State of Play sometime in the summer, and that is Phantom Blade Zero, with a new release date for October for more polishing. But at least they managed to push it away from a Marvel Wolverine and away from Call of Duty, and it's still days before GTA 6. Anyway, the games that were shown off during this State of Play, we had the Marvel Wolverine, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, Rayman Legends Retold, Bancho the Chef, Kemuri, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, The Lost Wild, Phantom Blade Zero, Dune Awakening, Dynasty Warrior 3 Complete Edition Remastered, No Rest for the Wicked, Onimusha The Way of the Sword, and they did a shadow drop for Onimusha The Way of the Sword demo. That is the gameplay that you have been seeing for the majority of this video. Silent Hill Townfall, Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thieves. They also announced for that game is getting a pre-order bonus for Ace Combat The Belkin War, which is nice. That's a pre-order bonus if you pre-order Ace Combat 8. Stuntman Hollywood, Ill, Control Resonant, Marathon Season 2 Nightfall, RuneScape Dragon Wilds for PlayStation Plus, Gitaru Man for PlayStation Plus, PSI Austin Mind Game Conspiracy, that's for PlayStation Plus, and you also have Onimusha Dawn of Dreams, which is also going to be on PlayStation Plus. Until Dawn 2, which was the surprise announcement that is being developed by Firespray, and they ended it off by showing Santa Monica next God of War game called God of War Laufey. I'm gonna be posting the PlayStation blog for some of these games, but going for the interviews and some of the games, we will go. I will basically go over the details from those games. So, without further ado, let's do it. We got some brand new information regarding Insomnia Marvel Wolverine, thanks to the interview they had with IGN. These are a couple of the bullet points of it, but there is a lot more info to go over. Starting off, there is an accessibility option in the game. For those who are a little squeamish of seeing blood and gore, there is an option to turn it off if you're uncomfortable seeing those things, which is nice, so more people will be able to play the game without having nothing to worry about. The game will have dismemberment in this game. You can chop off limbs during brutal moves, but it's not overly cartoonish. Nice. If Logan takes too much damage, his feeling factor can overload and his heart stops and he dies. Visible damage on Wolverine's body reflects his current health. A lot of work went into making his blood react realistically to all kinds of damage. The regenerative healing sequence vary depending on how much you get taken down by enemies. Mission areas have multiple paths you can take. Stealth is optional. Optional content and collectibles scattered throughout missions. Wolverine will team up with Sabretooth. Their fighting dynamic is completely different from the one you saw in the gameplay with Jean Grey. The game takes place in the same 1048 Marvel Universe as Marvel Spider-Man, but Spider-Man will not appear. Which makes sense because why would Spider-Man be in Magipur, in the Canadian area, or in Japan for that matter? When depending where this game takes place, there's no Miles Morales, so Peter will probably be the only Spider-Man. So if anything, we could probably see references of Spider-Man, like maybe you're walking by and you hear the TV news talk about stuff that's going on in New York and they talk about Spider-Man or something like that. You can manually pop out and retract your claws outside of combat. So basically, if you just want to go hands while using your claws, it's potentially you could do that, which is nice. The creative director confirmed in the interview that the game is linear with stealth is optional. He said the areas have different paths you can follow. Stealth is optional. You can do it or not do it. You can jump straight into combat and you can poke your nose into the nooks and crannies of the world to find things here and there, some optional content and collectibles along the way. So, which is good. I think it was pretty much already said that the game was going to be linear than open world, because it would defeat the purpose. How will Wolverine traverse a large map if he doesn't have like a motorcycle on hand that he could get to? Let's see, what more do I have? I should have a little bit more. Alright, here we go. These are a little bit of story details for Marvel Wolverine. If you don't want to hear them, you could fast forward ahead. I will put the where to skip in the description when I'm talking about the other games. So if you don't want to hear any bit of the story details, you can skip ahead to that point. But for the story detail, they said the X-Men does not exist in this universe. Mutants live in hiding and most of the world don't know they exist. Logan is part of Team X. And before you say anything, this is our actual team in the actual comic books. So before somebody said, wait, he's part of Team X, but it's not called the X-Men. Yes, he was part of a government team that went by the name of Team X. He said a group who save mutants around the world. I already talked about the little gore and stuff, but the people that you will see in the game are Mystique, Sabretooth, Jean Grey, and Omega Red are in the game, with more X-Men characters under wraps. So it's very awesome. We're gonna be seeing other X-Men characters that Wolverine will probably team up or potentially fight against in the upcoming game. So overall, I am extremely excited for this game. And it's very interesting in this universe that the X-Men doesn't exist. But I have a feeling probably by the end of this game, the X-Men will be forged and stuff. So there should be not really any complaints about it, since this is Insomniac universe and stuff. So people were trying to complain like it doesn't make sense that the X-Men doesn't exist, but Wolverine has the yellow suit and stuff. People gotta remember, Wolverine had his yellow suit thanks to the government way before he met the X-Men. Like literally, his first introduction into the Marvel comics is wearing the yellow blue suit when he fight against Jackal and the Hulk. So people need to brush up on their history of Wolverine before they could say anything about the character like they know something. But I digress. I'm looking forward to Marvel Wolverine. Pre-orders went live. They have the standard edition and the digital deluxe edition. The standard, what you get in these edition is, for standard you get a reflectable claws. You get access to the brown suit early. You can still get the brown suit in the game by playing, but you pre-order standard edition, you get it early. The reflector claws, basically them saying you could actually change the look of Wolverine claws. So people are wondering, so we'll be able to wear the bone claws or maybe other variants of Wolverine claws that you've seen in the comics. You also get 1 tech point, which is part for the skill tree, and 4 PlayStation avatars, which is Wolverine, Jean Grey, Mystique, and Sabretooth. But for the digital deluxe edition, you get 5 different suits, 3 tech points, the brown suit, the reflective claws, and the 4 avatar with the tech point. The 5 suits are one is the Apocalypse Rise when Wolverine missing a hand. His first ever original suit, and 3 others I'm not familiar with. So I'm gonna get the deluxe edition because they say you can only get those suits if you pre-order the deluxe edition. But we'll see what they gonna show off in the later coming of the game, because there's still more info to show, because in the trailer they did show the patch skin. So can't wait to see what more they have for us. We got in Marvel Tokon with their new roster, this time revealing the villains for Doctor Doom, and the team goes by the Knights of Doom. His team members are followed by Magneto, Green Goblin, and Carnage. This had a lot of people hype, and this is what everybody been asking for, especially when it came to Magneto and stuff. And to be honest, the community really came together because they actually did figure out the teaser from the last team revealed. They really put together the clues of who's gonna be in the roster next, and they turned out to be right. Getting Magneto, Green Goblin, and Carnage. Now the only one left to be revealed is the team for Ghost Rider, which some people think is going to be Scarlet Witch, Moon Knight, and for some reason Deadpool, which little had me confused. I would have said Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, and Blade, honestly. But to be honest, his team members could be anybody, so it is interesting who is going to be. We're getting close to the launch of August for Marvel Tokon, so probably at some point going forward, probably in a couple of months, or maybe even at Summer Game Fest, we might get the final team reveal for Ghost Rider. But we just have to wait and see. The more we see this game, the more hype is getting, and I love it. Now we have Kemuri. This game has been worked on, and I've been closely keeping tabs on it when the creative director Ikumi was part of the team that was making Ghostwire Tokyo like a couple of years back. But at some point, she left the studio in the middle of development and created her own studio called Unseen, which is kind of surprising why that she left. But anyway, her new game called is Kemuri. You play as a group of yokai hunters by using the fox eye to able to see the unseen in the world of Kemuri City. You could play up to three friends, so it'd be uh 3-player co-op. She said it's featuring multiplayer, so you could definitely play this game normally by yourself. But if you want to play your friends, you got the feature there. You hunt down yokai and also be able to form contracts with them to gain their abilities. So that is pretty awesome. And there's 3 type of yokai hunters you could be. They're the one with the sword, bow, and a shaman. So I'm kind of curious how will that work. And she didn't really say there was character customization. I'm hoping there is, so I could design how my character look and stuff. But overall, I'm truly excited. We finally got a look of the game that she's been heavily been working on. The game is set to release next year, and you could wishlist it now on the PlayStation Store. Next, we're up to Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, which is a remake of the 1990s. Well, it's a reimagining of the 1996 original Tomb Raider game, when you first plunge into the Peru Lost Valley. The developer said everything was built from the ground up, running on Unreal Engine 5, and it looks absolutely stunning. I know fans are excited to playing as Laura again, especially she using the dual pistol, because I remember that was a lot of things people have been asking for to return and stuff. So it's pretty awesome to see. The pre-orders have went live. They have a standard edition that's $60, and you get the survival outfit from the 2013 Tomb Raider game. And you also got the deluxe edition, which give you the Persian fugitive outfit, and that gonna run you $70. With also post-launch DLC story pack with a 48-hour early access, which is pretty nice. But it's just unfortunate this game was set to release this year in 2026, but it got delayed to February 12th. So now in 2027, we are potentially getting 2 Tomb Raider games in the same year. And look at this Tomb Raider, makes me wish the Uncharted series will return. Maybe someday in the future, but we'll see. Overall, this game looks amazing and is a worth to check out in the future. Now we have Onimusha, The Way of the Sword. And to be honest, I'm finally happy they actually gave us the release date for this game, because I was kind of sick of seeing their official Twitter pages posting some text that described the game and stuff. And I was like, man, just give us the release date, man. We've seen this game so many times. I just want the release date. But now we finally got it. It's set to release September 25th. Chalk it up to another game that releases in September. Onimusha, The Way of the Sword looks truly amazing with the sword combat, the parries, the blocking, the traversal. And the crazy thing is, they did a surprise drop for the demo that players could actually try out on all platforms. I managed to got to try it out. As you saw in the gameplay I had playing in the background as I'm talking is from the demo, and it was truly fun experience. I had to thank my buddy again for getting me into Onimusha because I seen Onimusha, I just never played it myself, and I'm definitely gonna play this game when it comes out on September 25th. And once again, Capcom got another banger on their hands after Pragmata, Resident Evil. Like, Capcom had been on a roll this year, so I'm hoping they keep the momentum going with Onimusha. And in my opinion, they're about to do just that. Now we're up to the game that closed out the show, which was Santa Monica Studios' brand new game, which was heavily rumored, and you could say it was a horrible kept secret. Is their brand new God of War game called God of War Laufey, where you get to play as Faye, Kratos' wife, and Atreus' mother. Rumors were going on how Kratos' wife was and how she was gonna play in this game. And it turns out some of the stuff was actually spot on. If you play God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, you would hear stories how Faye was portrayed to be a very powerful warrior. Shoot, Kratos even said that she fought him when they first met, and it ended up in a draw, and he gave her respects as a strong warrior. Shoot, the Leviathan axe that Kratos uses was meant for is her axe, and Boulder was sent to find her to fight her. Man, if Boulder was immortal, she would have pieced him up easily. But as you can see, her story is not over. The game is going to run concurrently with God of War 2018 and Ragnarok. It's basically showing what happened to Faye after when they put her at basically lit her body for ashes to travel to the highest peak in all the realm. And turns out where she ended up is a very dangerous place. She ended up in a place called the Everwind. Basically, it's the afterlife for gods, not just Norse gods, any gods from different pantheons. As you saw in the gameplay, we got to meet two different gods from a different pantheon. We have Schmidt, which is the Egyptian goddess of war, and Betset, which is the Tibetan slash Mongol god of war. These are the highlights from the PlayStation blog. It's the new mainline entry in the God of War franchise. Faye awakens in a strange land after her funeral. Her plan to protect Kratos and Atreus now at risk. She must fight through everyone, the transcendent outright realm of the gods. Ruthless gods from across mythology vie for power. Land overflow with dangerous magic. So the gods in this world are literally fighting amongst themselves for power. So far, we saw two different mythology gods. Now the question is, will we see gods that Kratos have put in the ground? Is it possible we could see the Greek gods? Or when we get to this part when we're coming across stuff that's happened in Ragnarok, will we see some Norse gods here also? Keep that in mind. Top priority is a unique, fresh feel for Faye gameplay. As you can see, she can actually jump and has a double jump mechanic compared to Kratos. I said this to a couple of friends. Uh, this the gameplay feels an injection of the old school classic DNA of the Greek games and strengthens of the modern God of War game. Basically, it's a mixture of both. You got the free form combat of juggling enemies in the air, doing air combat and stuff, but keeping the feel and strength of the modern God of War games with the up close personal camera angle and stuff. So all that is nice. Combines movement and fidelity of the Greek era with the Norse era world building and close knit characters. As and now we're getting to some of the theories that have been going around and stuff. And one of them is, as Odin was obsessed with the pursuit of knowledge, this explores what happens to the gods when they die. And you recall from God of War Ragnarok, if you have not played the game, it's unfortunate. I strongly suggest you play it. Odin was obsessed to figure out what happened to a god when he dies, because he refused to believe that his life ends when Ragnarok happens. So he came across a mask that could potentially give him the answers. He recruited Atreus to be able to find the mask pieces to put it together so they could look through the portal to see what was on the other side. But unfortunately, Atreus broke the mask, thus cutting off the connection to the other realm that Odin was so hungry to find out what it was. I already went over there. We got the Egyptian gods, Shemet, and we got the Mongol Tibetan deity, Bextes. Faye will need to uncover hidden mysteries and the true nature of the Everwind to find her way home. Deborah Ann Wall reprised her role as Faye. As you can see, she also played as Karen in the Daredevil series. It's definitely a night and day difference from God of War Ragnarok into this, since Ragnarok was also on the PS4. The PS4 definitely did held back God of War Ragnarok, because in the God of War Ragnarok, I could not tell this was the same actress, but now they properly put her face in the game. Yeah, it definitely is her. Frank is a curious cosmic cube, is played by Jack Quaid from The Boys. Rue is an enchanted ribbon guardian played by Paulina Lau. Faye will have two companions going to be with her, a cosmic cube that a lot of people on social media try to figure out what kind of role he plays, and also the ribbon, which Faye will come across that you will see in the gameplay. Faye combat built to maximize lethality, power, and fluidity, increase mobility. As you can see, Kratos is more strength than speed. Faye looks like she's like a combination of with some strength, but also a lot of speed. Hyper responsive fighting, Faye can move easily between the ground and air without halting the action. Faye wields a legendary sword focused on speed, control, and relentless build and maintain momentum during combat. As the Golden Hand of Jotnar, Faye also wields powerful magic, including the ability to manipulate souls. She can also strike her golden palm at enemies to detach them from their souls and attack their souls directly, opening up for combos and other creative attacks. So pretty much, Faye is a pretty broken character. I can see why Odin sent Boulder to go look for her, because since he's immortal and wouldn't feel anything that Faye would dish out to him. And I could also see in God of War Ragnarok how her fight with Thor ended in a stalemate, and also her fight with Kratos. And one thing I could definitely say, Kratos, I could definitely see why you went with her and had a kid, because she is just like you, ruthless, combative, and ready to throw down when the moment calls for it. There's some theories going around how Faye died and stuff, and I believe this game would definitely answer that. We got some hints of it from looking at the gameplay, especially where you see Schmidt pulled out something from her palm, which I believe is a piece of the mask that we saw in God of War Ragnarok when Faye, who I truly believe is the one that broke it in the first place to hide it from Odin. Man, this game looks crazy. The combat is also, and I'm dying to know Faye role because she saw all this coming to set Kratos and Atreus on this journey, and how they talk about her and praise her of her skills and stuff. I can't wait to see that in action. Some people believe this game is like a couple years away since we never got a proper release date for this game. But Jason Schreier actually commented on this, that he said, "Don't take when they say coming soon literally. This game could be coming out sooner than a lot of people think." Which somebody asked him, "Do you believe this game will release in 2028?" He replied saying, "No, he doesn't believe this game is releasing in 2028." So basically, he's saying the game could come out a lot more earlier than 2028. So this game could potentially release in 2027. So if this released next year, bruh, we got another banger on the horizon. It's more than likely they didn't really reveal the release date for this game, since the whole state of play was kind of focusing on Marvel Wolverine, since that's the next big PlayStation first party game that's coming out. So they wanted that to have the momentum. But having this being the closer and stuff, yeah, we're getting some games. We got Santa Monica with this God of War. Maybe whatever game that Corey Barlow was working on. We got Naughty Dog with their Intergalactic. Kind of disappointed it wasn't at this state of play, but it is what it is at this point. And we got a lot more games coming out for the rest of this year and going into next year. So with that being said, what were your guys' favorite moment from this PlayStation State of Play? Did any of the games that you saw interest you, and is there any of those games that is going to be a day one buy? Let me know in the comments below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I hope you have an amazing weekend. This is Storm. Please like and subscribe, and peace out.